now I'm going to show you how I did her eyes. Is I just took, and I'm going to use some heavier like crochet thread, and I'm going to show you how I indented it. And you're going to want a knot. I'm going to get those guys out of the way because they're just falling. Okay, I have to get some of my stuff out of the way. So you're going to want to make sure you knot it. And if you want to leave a tail so we can tie it off, or however you want to knot it off and tie it off. But this is just the way I always do it. So you're going to find out where you want the eyes to be, and if you want to take a couple of pins and put some pins in where you want it. Something like that, and it's going to get indented. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it because I've done a couple of them. And the knot, when we tie it off and the knot's here, it's going to get covered up by the eye. So I'm going to go right in here, and I'm going to go over to the other side, and I'm going to go in a little bit more. And if you don't like the placement, you can just undo your knot. But you got to use a strong thread because you're going to end up pulling it so it gets that indentation. So then I went in here, came out here, going back and back to the first. Into the back to the other side. And I get my string. And you're going to do that a couple of times. Now you're going to go back. See, now we're getting that indentation. And if you want to, how many ever times you want to do it, you just got to make sure that your thread is going to get covered up by your eyes. Okay, so I'm going to go one more time, and then I'll show you the eyes that I use. You can use, if there's different eyes you want to use or whatever you want to use for eyes, that's truly up to you. Okay, so then I'm going to go back because I'm going to knot it off at that same knot. And then you're just going to tie these. And we're just going to cut this. We're not going to hide these because they're going to get glue. If you want to put a little bit of glue on them now, that's fine. Because we're going to put eyes there and they're going to get glued on. Just don't cut the knot itself. So I'm just going to put a little dab of glue. Just enough to hold it. Okay, and now I want to show you something how you can kind of sculpt the face. And you're going to need a kind of a big strong needle. So I'm going to use this one. And right here, it's kind of indented from the eyes. So if you put your needle in here, and this one is a little too fat. Try this one. Just put your needle in there and push the stuffing that is right there. Take and push that up to that spot that you wanted. Like if you wanted some cheeks, so we could do it on this side over here. So you're just taking and putting the needle in and pushing it, that stuffing up there where you want it. So if you wanted some cheeks maybe or something, you could kind of do that. Is just push it out. Or if you wanted this stuffing down here by the neck up there, you can do that too. And if you wanted to do, like on this one, I stitched her mouth, you're just going to do a little bit of a running stitch, okay? And then I used makeup. I used some blush for the cheeks, and I took the side of an eyeshadow brush and did the mouth. Okay, so we have to do eyelashes. And I've got some it's black crochet thread. And so you're going to want it thick because it's going to have to show. And the buttons or the eyes we're going to use, these are either animal or doll eyes, and they have this back on it, and then it comes with this, but we're not going to need this because we're going to cut this part off and just glue it on. This is if you were going to stick this inside of the head and it snaps on the inside. This is on the outside, but we're just going to cut this. So we got to cut it off because we have to make sure, and it's going to fly on you when you cut it. So you have to kind of place it in there so you know where your eyelashes have got to come from down here and up. So they got to be a little long. So I have a couple of my eyes here, so I'm going to get those cut, and my other one just flew. And it probably went in the garbage because everything goes in the garbage. I don't know why. Okay, so let's try this again. And try not to pinch yourself when you do this. Okay. So now we're going to knot this. We're going to knot it. And I don't probably think I need it this long. We're going to do our knot on the other eye. And you're going to tie like 2-3 knots so that it doesn't come undone. A couple is probably good. So we're going to just start here. We're going to go from here and we're going to go over to this other side. And you probably have to get out of the way of the glue, not go through it. So you're going to try to get your eyelashes the same on both. And if you don't, you might have to start over because I know I did. So you're going to kind of go far out here because your eye is going to cover up a lot of that. And when you pull it, it's going to kind of hide a little bit too. So you're going to go in on the side. I'm going to just do 3 lashes. And you're going to come out where the eye is going to go into that little indentation. And don't pull too tight on your lash, because then you'll hide it. So you want to leave it kind of loose. So now we're doing the middle one, and you're going back in where the eye is. And then we're going to go up here. And then we're going to head over to this other one here. Actually, nope, we're going to just go back down here first. Nope, we're going to go over here. I can't remember how I did it. So we got it like that. So now we're going to try to get our lashes the same. So I'm going to do this one on the top. And then I'm going to go in by the eye. And now we're going to do the middle one. If I can get my needle in here. So you got to use a strong needle. I buy the big, thick, long ones. And then this one's going to come out here. Actually, we're going to do the last one just because of where it's at right now. We'll do the middle one is going to be the last one. And then do your middle one. And then just come out at the same place where we started, where that knot is. You could, if you wanted to, use false eyelashes. I've seen them, they use them on dolls. And you would just kind of like glue it to the top of your eye. So you could do that too. If you don't want eyelashes, and maybe you want it to be like a boy and you want eyebrows, you could just do an eyebrow. And then just cut that off so it gets hidden. And then we'll glue. Let's see how our eyes look with our lashes. Hopefully she looks feminine enough. Right now she kind of looks a little mad. Okay, so we're just going to put a little glue in here. Not a lot, because it's going to expand, it's going to spread out. And then try to get your eye on there. Don't press too much. And then do the other one. I'm waiting for my glue string to drop. And we have to get her nose on and her wings. She's a little fatty. She's had a lot of honey. Okay, so let's get, we have to do her feet and her feet and her hand or legs. So you're just going to cut a piece of this curler, however long you need it, and put it inside the leg. So it gives it some stability and it's just not all kind of flat. And okay, so I have the feet and I have them already gathered, and it's just going to depend on how you want this, but you want it so that your gathers are going to be able to go around the leg and tighten it up, and then we'll put some glue in there. And I'm going to put my gather, you're going to gather it and you're going to have your threads on the wrong side. And this is a little difficult doing this. So just pull your gathers up. And I'm not going to stuff it because I think it's good. And I hope this video isn't getting too long. I'm going to look and see how long I'm getting, but I'm going to have to edit it. And then you're going to cut this. You're going to cut your threads long enough so you can tuck them in, okay? So get a needle and tuck it in there, push it in there. And I'm using the eye of the needle to do this. It seems like it's helping. Okay. So make sure your tip of your glue gun is clean, and put it in there and go around the foot and squirt some glue in there. And then squeeze it. And you could, if you wanted to sew that on, but I think it's fine just putting it on like that and then gluing it. Okay, so now we're going to do the other one. And so by having the strings on the outside, or the wrong side, then you're able to tuck them in and hide them. So this is why you have to, when I make my gnomes and stuff like that, and anything like this, and I'm using a lot of string, and I'm, you know, tying stuff off like I do my noses on my gnomes and the bodies, you got to have the strong string so that it's not going to break when you tighten it, because you got to get these tight. So cut this, leave it some length, And take your needle and push those threads inside that foot. And make sure you have it on the leg. And make sure the tip of our glue gun is clean. Squirt some glue around. And then squeeze that foot. Okay, so we gotta look at her. And now we have her wings. And then the wing pattern I just made, I had a big one and I had a little one, so I used the little one. And like I said, on this one, I just used upholstery fabric and I sewed the two sides where the seam was on the outside. And then I did the shoes, the feet, the same way as these ones. It was a little hard to gather, but I did it, and then I just tied the ribbon around there. And the wings, so I cut two right sides together, and then you're going to sew a 1/4 inch seam, and you might want to practice. And then I took the end of when I turned the right side out, and I just took and folded this. This one is a little shorter, but I'm just going to cut this so it's wider so I can show you. So I just took and folded it like that and sewed right here, just so I could gather it so it's a little puckered. I liked that, so I did that with these two. And to me it doesn't matter, but to me it did. I had both of my puckers, my whatever, going down. Okay, so we're gonna glue these on the back, and then we have to do the feelers. So make sure you have these so they can be seen. Okay, just like that. And then you're just gonna hot glue, and they're probably gonna go right off of the center of the back. And then press those down. So while that's drying, let's do our feelers. And I think for this one, because I don't have any circles cut and I want to get the video done, this video isn't any shorter than the other one. It's 45 minutes right now. So we're going to twist these together. And you're not going to need a huge piece. And then I just have some little yellow pom-poms that we'll put on for the feelers. And these I might have gotten at Dollar Tree. So you're going to have to cut this off. And then we're going to have to make a couple of slits in the back of the head. So try not to make them too big. And then you're going to take and get that pipe cleaner through. If you can't pull it out, then use needle nose pliers. And then you're going to see how long you want these. And then we have to do her nose yet. So yeah, this video isn't any shorter than the other one. And I had my nose. No, I don't know where it went. There it is. Okay, so I have to do that. So I'm going to cut this down a little bit. And then I'm just going to glue these pom-poms on. If you want to do like I did the other ones, how I did this is just like I did the feet, except it's a lot smaller. So with the pom-poms, you can just make sure you get it on where you cut off. And just put a little bit of glue on the tip, not a lot. And then put the pom-pom right on it and press it down. And if there's a little bit of glue coming out, you could probably just wipe it off. And there we have that. Okay, so let's get the nose because that looks, she doesn't look, she. So I got a piece gathered, and you're gonna have just go right around the edge. And make a running stitch. You're going to want to knot your end, and you're going to go end up on the wrong side coming out. So this is the back side, and there's my needle and my thread where I started. Okay, so you're going to pull that up, and then we're just going to try and see if I need to tuck this in. Okay, so I'm going to try and I'm going to sew this on. If you wanted to put a pom-pom on for the nose, you could do that. But you're going to have to, we're going to come out on the right side, leave our thread. And you're going to try to get it in the middle. So I have it on the outside of the, let me bring it closer. So the thread's coming out on the outside of the nose, and I have my thread where I started, and I'm going to take a stitch on the face where the nose is going to go. And then you're going to take a stitch on the outside of the nose. And if you have to tuck those ends in as you're going, then do that. Of the nose, and take a stitch on the nose, and a stitch on the face, and then a stitch on the nose. So you're kind of going back and forth between the nose and the face. So remember, if you have to tuck that nose in, I got a black hair there. So in this, maybe you want to sew it a couple of times. I'll see what it looks like when I get done here. But like I said, these are not toys. So you keep going. On the outside of the nose, you're taking a stitch, and then on the face. So, and if you have to tuck in, you might have to go and tuck in those ends of the nose. And then do that, and then take a stitch. So you get all those ends of the nose where you gathered in underneath sewed. do one more stitch here. Okay, I want to make sure you can see that nose. So that's our nose. So you can see I got all those ends tucked under. Okay, so then we're going to knot this off and hide our thread like we did before. I thought I was going to make this video a little shorter, but it's not any shorter than the last one. But when I edit it, hopefully. Of course, you won't hear any of this when I edit it. So I'm just talking to you anyway. And if you guys like my content and you want to see more, then hit the subscribe button and click on that bell. And that bell will notify you each time I upload a new video. You must have your notifications turned on in your settings. Okay. And if you already have subscribed, thank you for joining. So we're going to see if we can get this thread in this needle, because this is a lot smaller needle. Come on, get in there. Okay. And then just go out anywhere you can, that's close by. And I get the okay, so don't cut that thread off. Don't cut that thread off. Cut the shorter one off. Okay, so when you come out down where you want the mouth to go. And I'll show you how to do a mouth. You're just going to take little running stitches. You're going to start, it's hard, I know, to see. You're going to start where right here. You're going to take a stitch in front of that, and you're going to go back maybe about halfway. So you're going to take a stitch in front, and you're going to go back about half. If you use light thread like this, it doesn't matter really how you sew. You'll kind of be able to see it. But if you make a mistake, it's probably not going to be anything huge. So now I'm just kind of going back to the beginning. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to take a little knot, make a loop, and then when we pull that through, we should be able to pull it through and not see it. So I'm going to do that a couple of times. Okay, and now go right through where you ended. If you come out the back of the head, and then pull it. Okay, so now if you see like this eyelash over here is kind of hiding, take and pull it out if you need to pull it out. Okay. Okay, so what do we have left? I did make a stinger for this one. The other one I did not. So I just took and sewed it like a triangle with a little bit of a dip in it. And I tucked it in like I did the arms and glued it. And I'm just going to glue this on the back. Okay. So let's get and the size eyes I used, and I was kind of wondering, were 10 millimeter. And I maybe got these at Joann's, Hobby Lobby. I can't remember. I think it was at Hobby Lobby. Okay, so we're going to take, I have a little brush, and I got makeup. I just got this from the Dollar Tree. So, I mean, you can use your own makeup if you want, but I really wasn't using this. So I'm going to take a little bit of eyeshadow, and I'm going to pounce it off. And I'm going to go right where her cheeks would be. Let's see, I'm going to see if I need to back you guys up a little bit. And then do both cheeks. And then we're going to take the brush. I'm going to wipe some off. And then I'm going to go in the brown. Kind of brown and the pink. Well, let's go in this one here. And then you're just going to wipe it on. Rub it on where her mouth is. So just like that. And if you wanted to put a little bit on the nose, you could do that. So let's get a bow on her head because she's not looking real pretty. Let's see if I got to make the bow a little smaller. I think I got to do her feelers different. I don't think I like her feelers like that. Maybe that's what's, or maybe it's a boy. Okay, I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna cut these feelers off, and I'm gonna do them like the other ones, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I got one feeler on. I made a circle, and this circle is a little over about 1 inch and a quarter diameter. And I did my running stitch and my gather ends, my strings on the wrong side. And I'm going to just lay them down and pull these up. And then you're going to tie about 3 knots. And then when you first do this first knot, tighten it. And then we'll cut this off and we'll put a little bit of glue on the knot. Just going to try to tuck that in. Make sure your glue gun is clean. Squirt some glue in there and then squeeze. And then we have a little bit of ribbon we're going to tie around the feelers. And cut those. So I kind of tie a circle first and then put it on there. And I don't need to waste that much ribbon. I don't want to waste all this ribbon for a little tiny knot. And then if you want, you can do the lighter, but watch your fleece. So it doesn't take much to melt it, you just got to get it close to it. And let me get a flower. And let's see. I had a pink one. So we'll do a little pink one, and then I'll put another little bitty one in the middle. And then we have, I have a couple little flowers. So I'm just going to take and glue these in her hand and then glue it shut. So I put some glue right there. I can cut those off. So I think what I'm going to do is glue these legs so they kind of curve around the front a little bit. Just like that. Fix the feelers. And I didn't glue the feelers in there either, so if you want to, you can, but they should be okay. See, and how I made this head, and I don't know, maybe that's why it's cuter. I made it rounder. So if you want a head like this, make your head so it's rounder this way in the middle, okay? And you might have to do a couple of them, because I know I have. See, and I really, the skinny heads, they're okay, but I like the rounder head. Maybe it's her nose too. So that is my bumblebee, and I gotta clamp that. So if you glue this hand, like mine just kind of came undone, you might have to get a clamp. Just get whatever you can. Just clamp it and just let that sit. Thank you for joining me today. Sorry, I just thought I could make this video shorter, but I guess not. It's just there's so many little pieces and parts to it. But yeah, but if you want your head like this one, you have to make it rounder, okay? So you're gonna make it instead of like this, you're going to come out. Okay, so if you make a couple of them and see which one you like before you sew it on, and do it that way. And if you want to change your ribbon, whatever color you want to do, however you want to do the feet, whatever color, if you know you want black, whatever you want to do. But I like the way I did the material, so if you guys like my channel, click on that subscribe button and hit that bell. And if you like what you've seen today, click on that like button because that helps my channel to grow. And thank you if you already have subscribed to my channel. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.